Dear students, today we will learn about the sampling techniques, part 3. Sampling techniques are further divided into two categories, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, each and every sampling unit in the population has a probability to be selected in the sample. There are few types of the probability sampling, which includes simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling, cluster sampling, multi-stage sampling. All these sampling procedures are the procedures in which probability exists for each and every sampling unit present in the population. In non-probability sampling, there are further three types: convenience sampling, quota sampling, and purposes sampling. Basically, non-probability sampling is a procedure in which each and every unit of population does not have probability to be selected in the sample. Non-probability sampling, the process which include the selection of specified elements from the population in non-random manner. Random and probability both are the same things. So non-probability having the procedure in which non-random selection is carried out. Random means if you are going to select a sampling unit from the population, you don't know which sampling unit is going to be selected. In non-probability sampling, researchers selects the sampling unit from the population without taking any mechanism, without taking any design plan. He or she selects the sampling unit from the population by his or her choice. A sample consisting of units within the population require minimal effort to reach. In non-probability sampling, the sampling units which are easily available, which are approachable, those sampling units would be included in the sample. So it is easy to conduct, it is less expensive, so cost is low, effort is low, time consumes in the process of sampling is very low. So it's time saving, cost saving, effort saving, all such things are saved in the non-probability sampling. And definitely we have to pay back for this easiness. That are the disadvantages of this non-probability sampling, which we will study later on in this session. First one is the quota sampling. In quota sampling, we will divide the whole population into the subgroups. After dividing the population into the subgroups, we figure out the weightage of the subgroups. And then, according to the weightage of the subgroups, select the sample size n. So next step is select the sample size n, survey from each subgroup until desired number of sampling units. So the researcher selects the sampling units from the population up to small n, which is the sample size. For example, our population has two categories, male and female, and we will fix the quota for both of these categories. For example, for the selection of any study, 70% female are included in the sample and 30% males are to be included in the sample. So 70% females would be selected and 30% males would be selected. Next method is the judgment or purposes sampling. According to the name of this type of sampling, the judgment means it is based on the personal experience, the personal knowledge about the sampling units. So it will be considered during this sampling procedure. The researcher picks up only those sampling units which suits to the study. Purposes mean sampling unit fulfills the purpose of the study. Purposes sampling is a sampling method in which elements are chosen from population based on the purpose of the study. The main objective of the purposive sampling is that the researcher uses his good decision and his experience or knowledge about the sampling units. He uses all these expertise and chooses those sampling units, elements which are appropriate to the study. For example, a person is going to buy any fruit, and if he or she has enough knowledge about the fruit, then he or she will select a good fruit. For example, researcher is going to buy mangoes, sweet, good, yellow, big mangoes. Then he will use his experience and look quality of the mangoes, the color of the mangoes, the smell of the mangoes, the size of the mangoes, and then he will select the mangoes according to the requirement. And he rejected all other categories of the mangoes which does not fulfill the requirement. So he is using his own knowledge, his experience, and the CN power also. So on the basis of all these expertise, he will be able to buy a good mango. So judgment is the sampling procedure in which personal experience or personal knowledge is matters a lot. Next is the snowball sampling. In snowball sampling, when members of a population are difficult to locate or non-cooperative groups, sometimes the sampling units included in the population are not willing to give the data, are not cooperative persons, or they are hiding the information. To avoid such kind of non-cooperative persons or groups, this type of sampling is going to be selected for the sampling procedure. Next is the recruit one respondent who identify others to respond. So the main responsibility is of the respondent, the key respondent, the major respondent, who will select the next respondent who are easily available, who are easily accessible, who are willing to respond. So one person recommends another, who recommends another, and so on. This picture in which this is the key respondent, and this key respondent is getting information from the respondent 1 and respondent 2. And these two are again the key respondents, key informants, because it's their responsibility to get more information from the other respondents as well. So respondent 1 is engaging the two respondents, respondent 3 and 4, and respondent 3 are again taking another respondent 5. And similarly, respondent 2 is a key informant, and it's his responsibility to get the information from another respondent. The researcher is simply engage few key informants, and then it's their responsibility to get the information from the other respondents of their own location. For example, if I'm going to collect the information from the Faisalabad and from the Gujranwala, then I will select the two key respondents, one from the Gujranwala and one from the Faisalabad. And then it's their responsibilities to get the information from the whole Faisalabad and whole Gujranwala. And they will engage the more persons, and then those persons will engage the another more persons, and the study will be continued. Next, we will compare all these four methods, in which first one is the snowball sampling, quota sampling, judgment sampling, and convenience sampling, which we did not study yet. So in the snowball sampling, this gray person is a key researcher, and this research using two persons, one from blue and one from green, and these two persons further engage three more persons each, and these three persons will engage more respondents from their locality. So these are the more respondents which are going to be selected from the key respondents. And then the chain will be continued until the specified sample size is attained. Next is called the quota sampling. In quota sampling, there are two types of persons, one blue and one green. The two subgroups will be made if you have to select only females or only males. If, for example, green color are the 5 females and blue color are the 5 males. So if a researcher is going to select only the female persons, 3 females, then this is called the quota sampling. Only female subgroup will be considered for the sampling. In the convenience sampling, the researcher will get the information only those respondents who are easy to access, who are approachable, who are nearer to the researcher. So this is the sampling procedure which is based on the convenience. For example, if you are asked to get the information from the hospital, then you will visit the hospital and get the information from the patients who are easily accessible. It's easy to get the information from the patients who are present in the OPD. You just go to the OPD and get the information from the patients. Next is the judgment sample. In the judgment sample, the researcher uses his own information, his own knowledge, his own experience, and on the basis of these expertise, he or she will select the sampling units from the population, whoever is near or far away from him. It does not matter that sampling unit is far away from his access, but the thing which is to be considered is the experience of the researcher about the sampling unit, about the study. So all these four methods are compared in this one figure. Now we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the non-probability sampling. So the advantages of non-probability sampling are easy and cheap to select. The non-probability sampling are comparatively easier to collect and cheaper to select. And definitely time saving. There is less time to collect the information using the non-probability sampling. For example, in the convenience sampling, it is easy to get the information from the sampling units which are nearer to you. So time will be saved, and cost will be saved, and easily you will collect the information from that sampling unit. And data will definitely easily obtained and understood easily, and the results which are obtained from those sampling units who are easily available, sampling units are easily understood. Disadvantages of the non-probability sampling: sampling error can't estimate, and the sampling error are only estimated using the in the probability sampling. In the non-probability sampling, sampling error can't be calculated, can't be estimated. And similarly, the variability, the variance, the variation in the sampling units cannot be measured. Next is the sampling distribution. Next, we will consider the example. First, you consider this is a big blue color cloud. This cloud is called the population, and the size of the population is denoted by the capital N. The parameters which are involved for the population are using Greek letters. So mu is the mean and sigma is the standard deviation of the population. So these are the three parameters of the population. And we are going to select three different samples. So X bar 1, X bar 2 and X bar 3. We will make the distribution of this population. So this blue color population having the distribution of this one. The bell shaped curve is showing the distribution of the population. And the mean of the population is mu. So mean is mu lies in the center of the distribution. Now we'll locate x bar 1, x bar 2 and x bar 3 on the same number line x. X bar 1 may be on the right side of the mu, x2 and x3 for example lies on the left side of the mu. So all these x bar 1, x bar 2, x bar 3 are not closer to the actual value of mu. X bar 1, X bar 2, X bar 3 are the estimates of this mu. So we will make the distribution of these means. This distribution is called the sampling distribution of the sample means. Now we will discuss the sampling error. And the right side curve is the population. So the center of this curve is at mu. This is the population mean. So this is the mu, which lies in the center of the mean, which is the actual value of the population, which is unknown. And the right side curve is the curve of the sample, and the center lies at the sample mean x bar. The difference of both means, the mu and x bar, is called the sampling error. And this error occurs due to the sample because we have taken the sample from the population. The sampling error is defined as error caused by the act of taking sample. This error exists only the procedure of the sampling. They cause sample results to be different from the results of the census, because in the census all capital N sampling units are going to be included, so the results are definitely accurate, exact, but the sample is based on the few values, small n, and definitely results will be different from the census results. Differences between the sample and the population that exist only because of the observations that happen to be selected for the sample. In the sample, limited observations are going to be selected as compared with the population observations. Therefore, the differences exist between their results. We will understand this concept using this diagram. This is a big rectangle, and this rectangle is showing you the population. So both rectangles are showing the population. And this is the size of the sample. And a small sample is selected from this population. The remaining area outside this circle is called the sampling error. And on the right side of the figure, you will observe that the size of the sample is now bigger as compared to the previous one. So the outside area is less as compared to the previous one. So this is the sampling error. As the sample size increases, the sampling error decreases. We will also observe this concept using this diagram, in which you will observe that this is the line where the sampling error is measured. Along this axis, sample size is measured. Minimum sample size, small n, is 1, and maximum sample size is infinity, or up to the size of the population. For example, population is capital N, so it will approaches to the capital N. First, we select a sample of this one. The distribution of sample is like this. The mean of x bar is this one. The sampling error is more. As the sample size is less, the variation in this curve is more. The tails are far away from the central value. But when the sample size increases, for example, here we have taken the 10 values in the sample. Now we are going to take the 10 more values. So 20, sample size is 20 in this figure. So if we plot the sampling distribution of the mean, then you can observe the tails are squeezing and the height of this curve is increasing. Now we will increase the sample size up to the 30. Now the curve is, you can observe that the tails are more squeezed as compared to the previous ones. And the height is now more leptokurtic. So as we increase the sample size up to the population, for example, we have the size of the population 100, and we are going to take the all 100 values in the sample. Then we will make the sampling distribution. Definitely, all the values are exactly equal to the population. So X bar and mu, both results are same. If both results are same, then we will have the single line of the mean. There is no variation between the mean and mu. So sampling error is now reduced. In the previous figure, if we increase the sample size up to this square, all the elements which are outside this circle are also included in the sample, then the sampling error will be 0. Definitely there is no more difference. So in this figure, this is the situation where sampling error is 0. So whenever this occurs, when sample size increases up to the population size, then sampling error is 0. So this is the concept of the sampling error. Thank you for watching this video. Allah Hafiz.